Welcome to the Papa Rock Stars podcast with Anya Bohm, where we talk about all things paparazzi, team training, suggestions, interviews with elite leaders, and more, all to help you grow and explode your Paparazzi Accessories business to rock star success.
Hello and welcome to the Papa Rock Stars podcast. My name is Anya Bohm and I am your show host. The title of today's episode is Do As I'm Doing. Let's chat about some of the things it takes to be a good leader and have the best results in leading your team. Now, before we jump into that, head on over to paparockstars.com. There you will find today's show notes all typed out and ready for you. The show image we'll talk about in just a second. You can listen again, share it with your friends and team members, and there's a lot of other great resources there for you as well. So again, that website is paparockstars.com. Now that show image I was just telling you about, today it's super cute. There's a boss lady standing there holding a sign with an arrow, and then the words say, "A great leader knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way." Now you're welcome to post this on your team pages, your personal profile, all over social media, and it is there ready for you on that website. Okay, let's jump into today's training. One of my favorite songs as a kid went like this: do as I'm doing, follow, follow me. Do as I'm doing, follow, follow me. To this day, those words stick with me. Why? Because when you are a leader, other people want to follow you. They want to do the things you are doing, to be like you, to find the success that you've found. If they didn't want to do as you were, they would choose to follow somebody else, right? Have you ever had a leader who told you one thing and then wasn't willing to do those same things themselves? Now, it's one thing to suggest ideas that they haven't tested and tried as a way to give you ideas that you can try out, but it's a completely different thing to tell you to do something that they will not do themselves or have no intention of doing at all. For example, in our businesses, this could look like a leader who's telling you to go live 3 times a week, but has not gone live herself. Or maybe she's telling her team to order 500 PV a month and is ordering just enough to stay active each month. It only takes a short time until those followers start to realize she isn't doing what she's telling them to do. She isn't taking those action steps that she's asking them to take. And then there becomes kind of a disconnect, a gap. It's apparent that the leader isn't running her business with integrity and she and her business aren't in harmony. And this is not the way you want your business running or your team to perceive you. You want to be able to say, I've tried this and this is what works for me. I've done this and this is what I would recommend. Maybe it's doing a live sale. Have you done a live sale for your customers? Can you tell your team members what has worked for you to organize your jewelry ahead of time, where to get some reverse live numbers, what's a good lighting setup, or maybe it's setting up in an event. What would you do to keep the wind from knocking your boards over? How much change should they bring to the event? How should they set up their boards? Or maybe it's about asking people to join your team. Are you talking to people about the business opportunity on a regular basis to keep your skill set sharp, or so you know what kind of questions people might ask before they join? All of these examples and so many more things are things you can learn about and research, but nothing is going to give you the same insight as doing them. And that will help you best train your team members and future team members to be successful at them. Let me share a story. It's one that I'm not sure exactly where I heard it, but I hope you'll forgive my lack of context on this. A commander was meeting with his advisors and captains to discuss the upcoming battle. It was a critical battle for the war, and the commander had lost several key battles recently and knew that he desperately needed to win this one in order to win the war. The leaders were very concerned because they would instruct and command the soldiers to march forward into battle, but at the first sign of trouble, the soldiers would lose their courage and retreat, or turn to one side or the other and run away. As the leaders stood discussing how to best motivate their troops, the commander stood up, left the tent, mounted his horse, and rode to the front lines. Once he was there, he yelled, "Charge!" and the troops rallied around him and dashed straight into battle. They didn't deviate to the right or to the left. They didn't retreat, but pressed forward and fought with fierceness and courage to win the battle and ultimately the war. So what do you think the difference was from when the leaders were shouting from behind, giving instructions, and then sending the troops on their way, to the commander who was right in front with them, fighting alongside them? The troops looked to him for their strength, for his guidance, his courage. When he didn't turn back, they didn't turn back either. He wasn't scared, and they weren't either. At least that's what it appeared to be. Maybe he was scared on the inside. But when the commander was back in the safety of the fort, they felt like he didn't understand the fear, the pressures, and the dangers that they were all facing. When he was out in front, leading the charge, they would have followed him to the ends of the earth. So do you want your troops, your team members, to give up at the first sign of trouble? To quit when they hit their first speed bump? Absolutely not. If you want to succeed, to grow, to become an elite leader, you need your troops to push past those difficult times, to buckle in when they're hitting those speed bumps, to double down when the stakes get high. And the way they're going to do that is if you are out in front, leading the charge, showing them the way to push through, to persevere, and to succeed. So what kind of a leader do you want to be? If you're just starting out or if you're growing your team, what kind of things would you like them to be doing each month? Are you doing those things too? Or if you are already a leader who is rocking her business, in what ways are you leading from the front? Is there something that you need to do a little better at? Never turn back. Never surrender. Push forward, lead your troops to victory, and push past those fears, those failures, and doubts so that together you can rise to the highest ranks in paparazzi. So today's show challenge, what are some of the things that you want to be doing? I know we just talked about this, but write it down. Is it to help 3 people a month to get their business started? Order 250 PV? Make a short list of those things and then knock them out each month, just like you want your team members to do. That's it for today's training. Again, the website to get all of the resources that we talked about today, get this show printed out, all of the notes are typed up for you, or all of the other great resources that we have available for you at paparockstars.com. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.